Hi, my name is North. This is my channel, North and His Books. I talk about books and language learning. And this video, I wanted to talk about a book you've probably heard of. It's called Harry Potter. And it's a very popular topic of discussion, to say the least, online, also in person, where you have all these people essentially looking for versions of Harry Potter in the language that they're learning. And you have an equally large army of people on the internet saying, no, you should never, ever read Harry Potter in your target language. It's a kid's book. Instead, you should read this, that, or a book actually written in that language. So it's a topic of debate because Harry Potter is so popular. I mean, it's still on the top seller list. And if you look up a book in any language, essentially, that you're trying to learn, it is very, very easy to find Harry Potter translated. In fact, where I live, I was at one point trying to read more in Dutch. And where I live in North America, it's very hard to find Dutch books. I went on to Amazon, I ordered a couple of them were sort of self-published, very low quality books. And another one was Harry Potter, the second Harry Potter. And I like Harry Potter. I mean, I grew up with it. I'm at the right age where I read it as a little kid and I read it again as a teenager, and I've seen the movies. I thought they were okay. I prefer the books. All my peers are big fans of it. I've played Harry Potter trivia even this Christmas, and I lost fairly badly because, reading the books a couple of times is not enough to get you to that high level of knowledge as a lot of people who read Harry Potter very intensely seem to have. So I'm not against Harry Potter in any way. And I read about 2/3 of this book before I kind of got bored and I wanted to switch to something else. And initially, when I thought about it, when they last made a video about what kind of book you should read in your target language, I was sort of poo-pooing. If you're learning English, that's a good verb to learn. I was poo-pooing the idea of Harry Potter being a good book to read. And the reason I gave was essentially that when you have an entire world of literature in front of you, why constrain yourself to reading something you've already read that is not even written in that language, is not even part of that language's culture or society, when you only have so much time left? Why not read something written in that language that teaches you the language and also allows you to learn about the culture and the people and so on? And I've actually come to a certain extent to reconsider that opinion. And I'll give it my reasoning for this in a nutshell. The best book to choose is one that you will actually read in the end. It doesn't matter how awful the book is. It doesn't matter if it's 50 Shades of Grey in ancient Greek. If 50 Shades of Grey is the book that you will actually read, then you should read that book. Because in the end, I bet, and I don't have statistics on this, I don't know if there's any study that has actually been done on this, I bet the majority of people who are learning a language, who attempt to read a full book for the first time, never actually finish the book. They give up. Maybe they come back to the language later, maybe they give up the language altogether, but most people open up a book, they read a few pages and they're motivated, and then over time the sheer wall, the tidal wave of words that they don't know wears them down, and they give up and they go on to do something else. And so if you're learning Russian, for example, and you know that all the cultured, intelligent people in the world have obviously read War and Peace and Crime and Punishment and what have you, and so you want to become cultured and intelligent, so you read War and Peace in Russian. I mean, if that's your first book in Russian, that's going to be quite difficult. I mean, that's going to be an insane obstacle to surmount. It's possible, and some people do it, but many people would give up. So in the end, going into details about, for example, whether all the made-up words like muggles and all the witchcraft spells and words and so on that J.K. Rowling uses in Harry Potter, whether it's worthwhile to read Harry Potter because of all those weird made-up words, or whether it's useful to read a book like Harry Potter where it's a novel and lots of people are using words like sneered and so on, which you don't really need that much in a normal conversation. That can be thrown to the side. That can be, say, yeah, okay, all of that matters. And then you throw it off the table and you get back to the core of what really matters, which is very, very simple. Are you actually going to finish the book you started? And if you love Harry Potter, as so many people do, it seems, around the world at many different ages, and if you really know Harry Potter well, then you can get into that book and you can actually get through it. And even though you didn't learn anything about ancient Greek society because you're reading Harry Potter in ancient Greek or Uzbek or what have you, at the very least, you got the reps in and you read all the words and all the passages, and that will help you a lot. And as for why Harry Potter would be so much easier to read, not just because you like Harry Potter, you might also like War and Peace equally. It might theoretically be just as interesting to you in English as Harry Potter is, if English is your native language. But what is also important is reducing the amount of effort you have to put in to follow the plot. For example, I'm trying to read in Russian right now, and there's this sort of shortish story written by Dostoevsky, who wrote Crime and Punishment. This one is called Letters from the Underground, I think in English. And it's essentially a very sad, angry man who's writing letters to himself. It's a monologue. And he writes extremely long, complex sentences, basically saying why the world is so awful and so on, and why he is so pathetic. And I mean, it's really tough for me at that intermediate-ish level in Russian to follow not only the meaning of all the individual words, but also the greater flow of the passage and understand what's going on and what he's trying to talk to us about. It's very difficult. And that is the exact opposite of something like Harry Potter, where maybe you've read it 8 times in your native language or in English, and so you practically know every single chapter and every single scene and what people are doing and what they're talking about. So when Harry is, being chased by a dragon and trying to pick up a golden egg, you know that's what's going on. And when you come upon words that you don't know, all you have to do is focus on learning or understanding those words or those phrases and not also the overall context. You don't have to understand the scene. That's also another reason why, for example, it's easier to understand if you have some kind of visual aid behind you, like if you're watching a YouTube video or a play or something like that, where you have access to subtitles, because not only do you have the words, but you also have more information being given in terms of, say, actors or people on a camera who are actually doing things related to what is being said. If you simply have a book in front of you and you already have no idea what the book is about, it becomes much more difficult. So it's only my opinion. Of course, I'll fight you if you think I'm wrong. But in the end, read whatever book you can actually finish. Because language learning is like a graveyard of people crawling towards a goal and yet dying in the sun because they don't make it. Most people give up partway. And most people, I'm willing to bet, don't actually finish that first real book that they set out to read. If Harry Potter allows you to finish your first book, then Harry Potter is what you should read. Thank you.